If I asked you what was your pre-race routine one day out from nationals, what would you tell me? You'd say, of course, I've got to sleep early so I can get good recovery and swim really good the next day. And another thing would be to shave your arms and your legs, especially if you're hairy. So why is it that we shave our legs and our arms, and how can we kind of improve the logic behind that and strategically shave certain parts of our body to get more of an advantage over other people? So let's get into shaving. Why does it actually help us? So the reason why shaving helps us is, of course, one thing is to reduce the amount of drag that is on your arms and your legs. And another part is so that you feel better in the water, as in you can get a better feel for the technique that you have, where you are in the water, and just those little sensitive things that you normally wouldn't have if you had lots of hair on your arms and your legs. All right, let's get a little bit deeper into understanding what makes you faster in the water. So of course, it's actually very simple. It's only two things that make you faster in the water. One is to increase the propulsion in the water, so how much power you're making. Number two is basically how streamlined can you be, and that's something you can improve through your technique, and you can also improve it physically, of course, through shaving your arms and your legs, and even wearing a tech suit, so like a race suit, because it compresses your body. So earlier on I was saying, all right, so we can shave our arms and our legs, but only doing certain parts of our arms and our legs might help us get an advantage over others. So how does that make sense? It's all got to do with drag. So drag is what slows you down in the water. And of course you shave so you get less drag in the water. But what drag also means is more propulsion when you're pulling towards the right direction. So for example, if a propeller on a boat didn't have any drag, it wouldn't move the boat anywhere. All right, in that same way, if our arms didn't have any drag, it wouldn't move our body anywhere. If that didn't make sense, I'll explain it with a drawing. All right, let's draw a person swimming. All right, so we got this guy. He got a long ass torso, got one arm bending over like this, about to enter the water, and that's him on the surface level. And the other arm is about to start the push. So he's already done the catch here, that's already been done, and he's about to push the water back. Now, when you push the water back, that's the point where you want to have the maximum amount of drag, because that way you can catch the most water when you're pushing the water backwards. Now, let's zoom into this and try and see, all right, what exactly is happening. So when you've shaven your arms, you've got, like, say this is your forearm, right? Shaved. Your skin is like super smooth. So when you're pushing the water back, all that water that you're contacting is flowing straight off. It's going straight off. And of course, you would still make propulsion, all right? But what my theory is, what I read and what the logic says pretty much is that if you didn't shave the part of the water, or part of the arm, sorry, that hits the water when you're pushing backwards, so you got lots of hair here, when that water inevitably gets to your forearm, it takes longer to zigzag through your hair, and so it creates more drag. And when you have more drag in the water, that means that you can push the water back with more propulsion. And of course, going back to the theory, how do you make more power? How do you swim faster in the water? You either make more propulsion or you decrease drag. Of course, decreasing drag is really important for technique, and that's what you do when you don't shave the front of your arms. So the front of your arms is smooth, because as you're entering the water, you want the water to flow over your arms very smoothly. But when you push the water back in the push phase, you want to have the most drag possible. So more propulsion, that's how you create more propulsion in theory. Decreased drag, that's when you shave other parts of your body which you're not using to make propulsion. So of course, this doesn't just apply to freestyle. It applies also to breaststroke, to butterfly, to backstroke, all the strokes. But to kind of make use of this, you've got to understand, all right, where am I making propulsion in the water? So which parts of my body are used for creating propulsion? And you got to get down to the minute details. So is it the top, the bottom? All right, is it which part of my legs are making the most propulsion? And so you look into that, and then if you want to get that advantage, you shave the certain parts accordingly, or you don't. So yeah, look into breaststroke. So where do you make your propulsion? When you're catching the water, of course, that means the insides of your wrists and your forearms and your arms should be left unshaved. The outside, when you're pushing into the water, should be left shaven, so you get the most streamlined effect. So what's the value of doing this? Why will you go to all that effort to not just shave everything off and actually think about which parts you're making propulsion, which parts you need to streamline? It's a bit of a hassle. And yeah, so what's the point? The point is not to necessarily improve your performance. Of course, that's one side, it's a benefit. But I'd say the point of doing this is to see whether you're able to think in a competitive mindset. So like, how do I extract all that performance and how can I take it to the next level? So if you think about this, right, think about, okay, I've got to shave, and that's really strategic. It's down to the who cares level. Like no one would care that you did this, but you would know that it would give you this tiny bit of advantage over the whole field, all right? But not necessarily get you the win. It will get you that mindset, which if you take on and you bring it up into the high levels of competition, you'll start to find more beneficial ways to either improve your technique, improve your recovery, everything around swimming, not just say, yeah, shaving your arms or legs. All right, thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you found it useful, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I plan to make more videos like this to educate my younger self, basically. So I'm 20 right now, and this whole, idea of making these videos came from the fact that I want to be able to help my younger self to do better. So if I was 15, 14, just starting out in swimming or getting very serious into it, say 16 or 17, what other ways can I teach myself? So not just through swimming and understanding technique during my sessions, but outside. What kind of information can I get that will help me when I'm back in the pool? So it's not just swimming, it's not just, say, recovery, but it's to that very minute detail of even how hand positioning might affect your propulsion in the water, or something else like how does the depth that you streamline at decrease your drag? So it's all these little things that I guess we don't really consider when we do swimming, because I guess we're more focused on things that are bigger impact. But of course, the smaller impact things, as you add them on, you become more knowledgeable, not just in the questions that we ask, but kind of the explanations of these questions. And so that way you become more invested in the sport that you're in, and you become more knowledgeable. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.